Hello everyone, welcome to our live stream. So we're still here in St. Petersburg, Russia, and everything's going quite well. We've had this sort of Qigong season going on. We had the new course coming out this month. It's our first Qigong course actually that we made with the master Jiang Yu Shan. It's been an incredible month, very busy. We've been putting a lot of content for you guys. I hope you actually enjoyed it. We put a lot of effort into everything to make everything very informative and entertaining for you guys. So we're actually planning to perhaps in the future we have more plans with the master. Also to maybe make like further some programs, like more advanced stuff, of course, but this will take quite a long time. And so far, like this course that you have, it's the foundation. It's very massive, and it's kind of the entry level that everyone needs to learn these things before going to any more advanced stuff. It's the level of breathing. There is something that is just needed for everything else. Also the form training.
So yes, like this is the first one, but we have been thinking about like creating the whole system in the next many years. Like it's not going to come anytime soon, but when we get like this stuff ready and then when the borders open and so on, then we think about like expanding the whole thing. Is it working?
No, there's something wrong with like the comments are not showing here, so I'm trying to see them from here. I'm not sure what is going on, but well, at least I can see them from my phone if you guys are asking something, but something's odd. Yep. Yeah, like anyway, like what you were saying, like for example, it's a bigger system, like people maybe don't understand even like Qigong, like how big it is, how big of like different sectors there are and how deep it can go. Like there are like real levels that go like deeper and deeper into like internal control of the body. Like the master usually says he says like it goes from external to internal and from internal back to external, and it's a big thing to actually progress in this art.
So yeah, it's like the Kung Fu world is like in the West we have like different sports, then we have strength and conditioning, then we have like rehab and flexibility and mobility training and everything else. And in the Kung Fu and Qigong world, in the ancient time, it was exactly the same. Like they had the Kung Fu, which is maybe like fighting application Kung Fu, where they like learn how to fight and learn to do all that stuff. But they also had the mobility stuff, the flexibility stuff, the rehab, but also all the other ways to strengthen the body and the mind as well, like the breathing and other health practices. Like it's a really big system of like enhancing performance and taking care of the body. Just like we have now in the West, like everything in the past, in the ancient times, I think they have the same, but their own way of doing things. And in many ways, they were ahead of like on many aspects, maybe not every aspect, but on many aspects than we are today, I think.
I think so too, and it's crazy that it just didn't spread here or went any wider. I think it's because we have such a like established system in the West, and we have certain authorities that are there like very high, like the medical industry and everything. So it's hard for the sort of the other style to go in there, because usually it has a reputation of not maybe working or something, but it's complete nonsense. Like the thing that you get from Qigong also, it's super practical. You're just simply taking care of your body in a very, very good way, in a very thorough way, in a very holistic way. That is, I think I've been like into treating my body and fixing myself and taking care of myself already for many, many years. And in Qigong, there came a lot of actually new stuff from there, because this is something that just is not usually available, or you don't find from anywhere. You just don't bump into this knowledge. You just have a certain type of view here. So there's very, very like a huge benefit just to get a complete different, like what you call like a world view into.
Yeah, into physicality and mentality and the physical fitness and training. Like the thing about the West is that the West has its own system, and it tends to eat like the Eastern systems inside and make them like very different. Like the Western yoga is very different from the real ancient Eastern yoga, for example. And the same has happened to Qigong. It's like the Western Qigong is very different from the ancient Qigong. And they're like, it's like all the Eastern styles, they have been like Westernized and made the Western like style over the years, and they are not actually the real deal anymore.
This is actually a funny point, because what I noticed, there are certain circles like kind of the circles that take from different arts. Like it's sort of the movement training that combines the different things. I noticed, for example, I was in this one of the camp that was about movement training and such, and they were like they have taken like bits and pieces from like literally directly from Qigong and some like Tai Chi and Eastern stuff. Like this is the thing, like they have a certain elements, but it's always like one sort of isolated move perhaps or thing that they do, but it doesn't have the complete approach, almost never. So this is also interesting, that even if they have something like an actual real element from it, but they don't have the complete system, which kind of makes it what it really is.
So, yeah, so they don't have the depth and they don't have the level, like they don't have the teaching. They just have the really superficial, like the surface level from something. They pick it up and then put in their system, and then it's like, then they act like it's the same thing, but it's like completely different thing. When they don't have the expertise and the proper knowledge to actually even teach the thing properly. And that's what has happened like in many Western methods, and in the circle you talk about, like they just take bits and pieces like this, and then they think it's the same thing as having the actual thing, but it's not. Like it may look like very similar, but they don't know anything what's going on, or even like how to use it properly.
No, yeah, exactly. It's like combining it's put into a context that it really doesn't even really belong to, and like this is something that I wasn't really even able to tell before we went and learned from the master, because after that it was like it just pulled the cover from everything. Like that, the contrast to seeing what the master was teaching us, and then comparing that to the other stuff, that kind of showed like, wait, something's really missing from these other approaches. Like especially I'd say regarding breathing, that was maybe the biggest thing that I haven't found anywhere. Regards like in the Western world, like the breathing stuff is very, very shallow, on a very shallow level, and we were already like very kind of deep into researching breathing, and we were doing a host of different breathing stuff actually before we even went to the master.
So yeah, like I used to do the Wim Hof breathing already back in 2015 and 16. Like I was doing it almost daily. And then later I learned like the Pilates style, which was actually quite good in my opinion, like compared to that. And then you also like research like yoga and all that stuff.
Yeah,
and then we went to the breathing seminar.
Oh yeah, big breathing seminar, like multiple breathing techniques, and it's not like this is, it can be, they can be beneficial, it's good, but the problem was like I was still like never really. It was like all this, again, it was bits and pieces. Like I would say, you're trying to take a little bit here and from there, and you don't even really properly understand what the breathing is doing. Like regarding, for example, the Wim Hof method, most people don't really truly understand that it's one form of breathing which has a very specific effect on your body, but it's not good to do only, for example, that. So I think...
Yeah, I really want to talk about that, because I did the Wim Hof method before, and now, after what I know now, I wouldn't do it that way that often. And even from my experience, not even from like learning from Jiang Yu Shan, but even like learning to be more in tune with my body and breathing, and just like really learning the stuff. Like it just doesn't make sense to do that method like that way anymore.
Yeah, and the interesting thing is like you don't need the weird yogi stuff where you control your belly and do all these weird movements, or or the like which is basically like hyperventilation, which you do in the Wim Hof, for example. And then there's these other techniques that you can do in the breathing, and this can be useful. Like it's good, they can be tools for certain purposes, but they are not something that you need to do every day. And once you actually learn like what is in the course, like the proper full body breathing and the whole like using the whole apparatus to breathe just normally, it's like you don't need to do all that gimmick stuff all the time, like because you have such a strong foundation, which is like even in training, we sometimes talk about basics. We talk about basic exercises. Once you have those are the ones that you really need to focus on. And on top of that, you can gather things here and there, but it's still the most important is that sort of foundational basic you do. And breathing is pretty much the same. You really don't need much else in a way.
Yeah, right now I would do maybe the Tumu breathing method, the Tibetan method, which is the Wim Hof. I would use it maybe very rarely, very occasionally when I need to do for that very specific purpose to really increase the fire or what they say in Qigong. But I wouldn't really do it all the time because right now, like I get so much energy and so much vitality from just the fundamental breathing. Like I don't need to do the extreme breathing techniques at all. And actually, at this point, they would actually decrease my like level of performance and everything because I'm already quite high in that like area and regard of breathing stuff. And if I go like try to push it like up, it just it like comes with negative effects in my opinion.
The energy, the benefits for your energy and the benefits for your health and just normal feeling good is you can get through like you don't need to do some weird stuff for it. You just need to breathe properly, normally, use the whole capacity of your lungs for it. And this is something like if you can also do it while doing for example, there's the health Qigong, because in our course there's one part is the health Qigong, and there's like also a health Qigong form which is called the Buddhist Qigong. And for example, this form is perfect for training this sort of full body breathing, and it's great to do every single day. And you don't need to like strain your body, you don't need to burn yourself or create some odd fire. You can get a very balanced energy actually doing this sort of form. And this I think is a great part of it. It feels always like it's sort of like a balanced thing that you do in Qigong. And these are like a lot, and they recognize the different ends. Like oftentimes also in West, this is one of the things, and regarding this sort of gimmick breathing methods, that they have like they don't recognize that it's only one part. In Qigong, like they recognize, okay, you have this, you have that, and then you need both, and then you have this sort of also like the basic or normal pattern, but like they recognize the different aspects there and the balance as well. And this is the very high level sort of internal knowledge that I think these masters had. It's hard to sometimes imagine even how they really came up with it, but like we talk about like these ancient times, because it was really about practicality. Like these guys always like referred, or how do you say, like calibrated everything regarding like the reality that they lived in, that it was practical, it helped them in something that they were like living in that.
Yeah, and that's why I personally like the Qigong the most from the Eastern method, because it's the most practical. It's designed by like real warrior monks and like people who actually like wanted to improve the performance and really wanted to improve the health and vitality. Because I think in the West the yoga is very, very popular, but it's also like the problem with the yoga is that it was created by scholars and sages. So it wasn't really even for practical purpose. It was for enlightenment and stuff like that. It was for like it's kind of a form of extremism with the flexibility and everything. The ancient yoga and even the modern yoga. It has health benefits, but it has so completely different purpose from Qigong, because Qigong is it's hard to say, but it's like Qigong is more in tune with the real world. It's not for like any like
Buddhists are like trying to reach some
something
state.
Yeah, it has that element as well, but they make, like you said, it has the both words. Like they make very clear distinction between the two. It's like this is the real stuff, and this is the like the enlightenment stuff. And in the West, it's like there's no proper like separation between the two.
Yeah, that's a very interesting because it's sort of like the West took that sort of side of it, only that side of it, because even like the Qigong practice in the West, it's always like this weird, it just feels a little bit weird, esoteric, and talking all in this like high concepts of, I don't even know what is the point like there. It's all like weird, a little bit weird.
Yeah, like even if you took the ancient Qigong master, like they wouldn't be able to understand a lot of it, I think, because it's here. It's like it's what they think. It's not in the like the practical real world anymore. It's like it's just a lot of it is like nonsense, and it's not. It's a lot of it is like a scam in many ways because it's no longer practical. Because the real ancient Qigong was super practical, to the point, just no nonsense at all. And now it's like completely opposite. It's like it has some practical health element, but the performance and the fighting Qigong is gone. There's not any of it.
Yeah, exactly. And that's why like that is why I think the benefits are so drastic. Also, I like thinking just like in quite a short period of time was like, wow, like what is happening? Because the thing we hadn't done that type of thing before. We hadn't done that type of breathing before, or those moves before that is in there. It's also very unique movements. Not because it's like twofold kind of uniqueness. One is the sort of internal control that you have, which you do inside your body and the breathing, all this. And then you also have the sort of unique movements that are in there that you combine with the breathing and everything else. But doing those, because it was like very new stuff and never have done before, it was like a really, really remarkable change in the body. Sometimes it's even hard to really describe because it's such a wholesome effect. Like it's not, you can always pinpoint, well, you know, this, you can say maybe some spine can feel better or your shoulder can move better and so on. And this is actually what usually happens from when you train Qigong. But for me personally, it was the sort of overall effect, just especially regarding breathing, just like feeling a certain like fullness and completeness coming to the body, because like there was something very fundamental that was still not there.
Yeah, for me it was all about like raising the spirit and just like feeling like all the time feeling more powerful, like just feeling like you can do something. Like it's like physical confidence. It's just because when you learn how to breathe and then you do the forms and you learn like internalize all the stuff from the course, it's like you just increase all the time like your physical confidence.
Yeah, sure. Yes. Yeah, I think maybe the physical confidence is the good word, because even like the hard Qigong form is like directly for sort of pumping yourself up and getting a certain like a spirit and a feeling, like it's mentality. Yeah. Like this is, I've never encountered.
Yeah, it's like
like it's not. It doesn't sound. It's not weird to say that it feels cool, but it feels cool because there's a certain spirit that it gives, a certain energy and thing that you do with these forms. I remember like the master was talking about also, because when he was first doing this form learning, he was like saying like this is exactly what he wanted, because it was that it had that old school style of Shaolin. That was the very like old style of Shaolin. And this is the thing, for example, if you go now to some of the Shaolin temples, Europe or whatever, US, they have the new style. They don't actually even have this very old style anymore, the very original Shaolin thing. And when you do it, it's unbelievable. Like you can sort of feel a weird ancient, I don't know, Shaolin master's spirit when you kind of do it. But this is maybe,
in the West you can learn it's always the same stuff. It's always the same I Ching Ching and Paduan Ching. Like if I look at the videos from YouTube, it's the same stuff I learned in Australia from like the Qigong and Tai Chi classes. It's always the same. It's always like the soft, and the breathing is not taught properly, and it's just going through the motions, and it's good stuff, but it's only very like tiny part of the whole thing.
Yeah, they have like a standard curriculum that is,
yeah,
they all
everyone
repeat.
knows.
Everyone does the same thing. I'd say, okay, so those are like part of just the spiritual level, the improvements there. You know, the breathing level also is part of it, because that creates it as well. But then there's also like these things about, I think, just body awareness regarding, because there's a lot of actually methods regarding like self-treatment as well. So certain like a self-massage thing, things that you do, you're massaging your neck, your head. These were also a really big thing, because you don't touch here and there your head and do something like this. Like it's really nowhere there. And like doing that, it's actually like one of those things that just makes a really interesting feeling. Like you start to get to know your body in a much better manner. And even like this stimulation, you start to understand like what does massage actually do? You know, it stimulates the different nerves, and in Chinese medicine they call meridians, and it does many different things that is like very surprising. I think this is one of the things in Qigong that is, some of the effects you don't need to know about them. They just come through that holistic approach. That is kind of the thing.
And regarding the previous topic, the forms and the spirit, like now it just feels it like expands from the Qigong to like every aspect of training. Like when I do any training, it feels like just more like I feel like I'm making better gains with any exercise right now, because I practice the breathing in every exercise I do, and
Yes.
and how I do the exercise, because I'm different now. So it feels like I can do new results with anything I do, and I can like expand to different areas as well.
That's the thing about even before Qigong, like what we were doing a certain training, we had certain principles, and when people to like start to use our principles, they can do maybe a little bit similar exercises, but everything is different, because our whole approach was so different, focusing on the quality and all this stuff, the mindfulness and so on and so on. So Qigong had a similar effect on us. It brought another element to it that changed everything afterwards. And this is, I think, maybe what you were like also like saying, like everything that you do afterwards, it won't be the same, because there's an increased sort of awareness. What you can say, awareness, consciousness,
intensity.
These are the things we like. And regarding our results, regarding getting results from training, like the two important things are intensity, like you said, and the sort of awareness. These are, I think, two things. If you have in Qigong, like you have those both. If you just have intensity, which most people use, try to get the results, just like pushing hard, but they don't really know what they're doing, you can get results. But usually this is not for the long term. You will plateau at some point, and you risk pretty much like getting hurt. So you need to have, like in Qigong, you learn to actually use a humongous intensity through your mind. You don't need to use any weight or any external stuff, just through your mind to control and contraction and like muscles and things. But you also have a very qualitative approach to it that we kind of that is very close to us as well. The internal approach, the control, the connection. You actually know what you're doing. You're feeling what you're doing. And this, I think, resonated just very soon. Like in the very early days when we were doing Qigong, like immediately like, whoa, this is good stuff. What we're learning.
Yeah, and this is only like the internal, like the element, because we are the most excited about the internal element, because it has the biggest effects on us. But even like the superficial and the external element is very unique. Like we haven't shown any body's Qigong form like on YouTube or anywhere else, and that is very different and very unique in the world of Qigong and in the world of training as well, because you really like train the spine and the hips in a very different way than in the most modern methods.
Yeah, but like this is this benefit. I was talking about this at one. I think I was talking to Master about this at one point, because I have a very long background, of course, in training, like decades of training. I've done a huge amount of everything. I've like really tested out so many different styles and movements and exercises and grinding my body. And in Qigong, it was like still like, yeah, this movement, this is new. This is new stuff. There's some new position and places and tension felt in there. So this was for me. And a person who doesn't really maybe have that much experience, every single move there is going to like make like, what? I was actually like some of the health part, which isn't even that, it's not that intensive. I was showing some of those movements to one of my coaching clients. He's doing them and is like shaking, just doing this sort of health movements because it's such a strong new stimulus for your body. So for a person who's not super experienced, it's like it changes your whole body, like inside out.
Yeah, and the thing is that even although the movements are very unique, like some of the movements before we met Jiang Yu-shan, like we had never seen before, and they were like just like different, and just like it's like hard to know even what's happening sometimes. But even if people like try to copy the form, they don't understand how to use the form or the exercise, and it will be no good because the thing with like the Western methods and the Qigong methods is that it's like the Qigong, how they use the exercises is like completely outside the Western way of doing things. Like the length and how the exercise is done it's like in the West, no one even like thinks about doing it that way. Because in the West, it's like, nah, you have to do it like always this way. You have to do like the 4 to 8 repetitions for strength, and then you have to do 6 to 18 repetitions for strength endurance, and then over 20 is like endurance. Like even that is kind of like questionable and in my opinion not very true. But in Qigong it's like stuff like that is just like it doesn't make any sense to most Westerners. Like why would you do that? But once you start doing it, you are like, this is actually a better way than how a lot of people do the training in the West.
Yeah, I suppose it goes to like because the method is so different, and you like don't understand it. Can be you can actually train. You can train very effectively without doing any of the stuff that you get from the sort of Western standard fitness and training principles. You can train without those, and you can have a huge system without those. This is very unique. Like this is the interesting like difference between this like world views, just like the Western and Chinese medicine as well. Like it's such a different category and different worldview and this difference inside training. Like when I do like for example Qigong, it's not it. I don't feel like I'm just going, well, I do my workouts like this and that, and it can be fine, but I don't get this feeling anymore almost in any training that I do. It's almost like there's something else to it when I go do training. It's not mechanical anymore. It's because it's through that awareness to the breathing and through that internal feeling that you have. It's like you're like, what am I even doing when you're training? It's really weird kind of. But you have to experience it.
Yeah, and the thing with like the Western methods, they are very good and like they work and they're like a good sign. But when you add the Eastern methods, like the real ancient Eastern methods, and you combine them, then you have like the both sides of the yin and yang, in my opinion. You have the really Western, like really scientific, like pinpoint, like laser focus, like the method. But then you also have the Chinese, the Eastern ancient method, which is more like holistic and more internal, in my opinion.
And like this is what we've been about for a very long time. I think it was like for, I don't know if it was before even like Jiang Yu-shan, like we were all like bringing the Eastern aspects, like even before the Taiwan. I remember like we had a very clear thing. We're seeing like these two worlds that we were like trying to bring together because it's the results are going to be very different when you actually combine and have that sort of completeness there.
Yeah, because and the reason was because the Western method was in the like the really basic state, it's broken and it's damaging and it's like unconscious because you are like you're strengthening the body in some ways, but you're also destroying the body, and that's what actually like started to draw me to like to study the Eastern methods because they were all about like
the purpose was always like a little bit distorted. It was never like the focus on just purely from the body, like or focus on the body. It was always some other thing that people were chasing. I think this was one.
Yeah, it's always for me and many others. It was always like validation and ego and like that. Like in because it's very weird stuff because you kind of like destroy your body to get something like the validation and the progress and the results, and they always come from like very weak and like insecure and broken place. But in the Qigong you can still get the same the same results or even better results, but it comes from the kind of self-love and fulfillment and from a really position of strength.
And in a way, it's like it's just very welcoming. Like it's really funny because I think it can feel so foreign because it's such a different matter and everything. But there's a certain like because you just immediately recognize like this is something good here. Like this, you have something here that like is great. And like I immediately like noticed this. I was just because we talk about the spirit thing and it's not like that. For example, yoga and stuff, they have good things. I've done yoga and all this, but they never had the same resonance to me, like compared to Qigong, for example. I never felt that because it's the method as a whole is so different. The where like Qigong is hitting and where it comes from, like that sort of created it so that it resonated so much with me, like the whole sort of philosophy in it. And how like everything, how they do the moves, what's the purpose, and what is everything was like yes, this is like good. That's the thing.
Yeah, and it's like one of the people who do the course right now, the person you talked about just a moment ago before this call, and he said like it feels like you're doing something ancient.
Oh yeah,
yeah. And it's really the feeling like when you do it, it feels like you're doing something which is not this day and age.
Yeah, and another guy who had bought the course was also talking about, for example, the very first section there where you do relaxation exercises, and people are like real relaxation, like. But he was talking about like actually like how important or how big of a difference your ability to relax makes in your health, but also in your performance. How you like doing, for example, fighting or something. The more relaxed you can be, usually the better you are. And these are things that people miss, but it's in this system, like as one fundamental part. Like I remember he was like, the master was like, you need to first know this, like this relaxing before you can like go, for example, to the hard Qigong stuff. This is also why, these are not together because you can't really do, for example, the hard stuff without first the foundation. So it all plays together in this system.
And yeah, I think a lot of people would like to start learning the monkey Qigong or some like very special forms of Qigong right away, but this is the fundamental and foundation for everything, and this is already like even the Jiang Yushan said like this is already very high level and compared to like the where the people come from in the West, like this is super high level. Like this is so high level that it will take a long time to even like understand what's going on.
But it was really great experience to from the very beginning thinking about like just really like I loved the whole experience, just like making the course, the master, like spending time with him. Like that's also one of the things, like just because like we can always like sometimes like judge the method also like based on the guy, like the master who does it. Like we made the Qi demonstration, like the guy is like in his 50s, is incredibly how do you say, like infectious energy, good feeling. Usually when you hang out with the guy, like you can feel like there's something to it, and this also it's very clear for me now, like doing the training that he has and doing the course and everything. Like it simply is something feel like very, very precious in a way.
And it really feels like the ancient Qigong. It's like it's what is really missing from the West, in my opinion, because and you cannot get it from yoga, because yoga only has it has like the yin and yang styles, but yoga as a whole system is only the soft thing. It doesn't have the fighting part, and it doesn't have the real yang, what like most people actually need to really feel like confident and really complete.
I think this talking about like the yoga and Qigong stuff, maybe we make a separate video part, because it's a great comparison to make, and it like makes things, I think, very clear when you talk about it in this manner, because most people think that like yoga and this is like the everything, like that's the, you get all the stuff and the enlightenment and whatever, but it's only like one side of things, and there's a whole other side to it, and usually like at least in Qigong, like they have those both two sides.
And in Qigong, it's like it taught that focusing on one side too much will lead to problems. Like if a woman does too much hard Qigong, it will lead to problems. And if a man does too much soft stuff, it will lead to problems. And the problem with yoga is that like people don't know that like the danger if you focus on too much. If you are like a man, it will like cause problems with like especially with the testosterone and other, like this is controversial, but I think it's in Qigong it's like recognized, but I don't think it's yoga. It's like, oh yeah, all is good, just do this, but it's actually not, and you have to be really careful how deep and how much you do one type of training. Like you need all kinds of training for balance, but focusing on too much one side will lead to problems.
This is exactly it, because most people also don't understand the effect of training on the hormone systems, and like for the Qigong, it's very clear in Qigong, like they know that it has impact on the internally on your organs, what kind of hormones they produce, whatever. It's
like all kinds of training.
All kinds of training.
Like bubble lifting will like produce very different results than some other, like stretching, for example.
Yeah.
It will change the physiology very like strongly.
Yeah. I don't know, should we maybe look at some of the, I think we have a lot of questions here. And on another note, by the way, the course, it's been out now for like the month, and we've had a launch sale on it, but that will end in just like what 2 days we have left. So if you got interested in the course, I do recommend that you go out, check out the website. This is the warriornagom.com, and there's actually the whole curriculum and everything in more detail.
Yeah, and this is like the fundamentals and the introduction to this whole system. And after that, there will probably at some point, maybe next year, will be coming more advanced stuff you can learn. And Jiang Yushan also talked about that he has a plan to create like a training kung fu camp or school in the countryside of Taiwan, where like people can come and train like as long as they want and learn this stuff. But this will, like, I think this will be the prerequisite for like most advanced training.
Yeah, I think like the master was talking about like this, you can go to him and then learn all the same stuff there, but it's much better to learn just like this basic fundamental important stuff and even like the more advanced stuff through this course, and then it's like you can go there and you don't have to go through all that same stuff. You can already like go to a little more advanced.
Yeah, and you can like immediately refine the mistakes and refine like everything. Like you don't have to learn from really super basic level, and then like because it will take a long time, but you can immediately like refine it.
Yeah, and I actually like even But like I'm super excited even about the future because I notice that there are still like things it goes on deeper level, and I want to learn this stuff because it's really great. It's fascinating actually. I think there's still a lot more benefits that we can get.
Yeah, like some of the more advanced stuff, they're completely crazy. Like I cannot do them at all. I cannot, like I can, but I know
Yeah.
it doesn't like do anything good for me yet.
That's the thing, like
because it's too hard.
yeah, okay, good point about that as well. Like because the gimmick stuff, for example, it often it's actually too high level to like that's the thing. People immediately jump on a higher level. Like this is the problem in many cases. You always try to do the hardest skill or something, but when you haven't even properly mastered anything in the most basic level, which has usually the largest amount of benefits out of any level, is that sort of basic level.
Even with the breathing stuff, it's really the fundamental breathing is the most important. Then the other techniques and the special stuff, they all come later.
Well, here's, for example, a question that can you give a recommendation for beginner in Qigong for women, like from what to start? Well, for example, this course is perfect. The first part of the course has everything that you need for the starting. It has that fundamental part of relaxation, breathing, and the health Qigong form that is for women, people of all ages. Very, very perfect start. Like this is in this course, all the fundamentals to start Qigong training, even theory on Chinese medicine.
Yeah, and the fighting Qigong, they just need to do the form without the intensity and then also skip the golden bell part. But they can learn the movements, and the movements are already very effective.
Yeah, there's some actually women have gotten the course, and first I was asking like, because we say like it's not recommended to do the hard Qigong for women, but you can do the form of it, but you can't use the mindset of that like aggressiveness and all this that is or the very hard squeezing. You do it in the same softer manner as you do the Buddhist Qigong form that is also in the course. So this is fine.
And it depends also if on the woman, maybe she's like an athlete or fighter. Then she can really
like
focus on
if you're like an MMA fighter or boxer or something, I think it's fine.
And very good.
Yeah, and good too. Yeah, because in the end it is about what you actually want to have. Because certain women might want to have a certain hardness and toughness, which is maybe it's good.
But like this is the two sides. Because in the West right now you cannot even talk about this. Like this is politically incorrect to even talk about like man stuff and woman stuff. But in Qigong it's like very basic. It's like this is good for you can do a lot of this as a man and a lot of this as a woman, and it's very clear. But in the West, it's like you cannot even talk about it.
Exactly.
And even us, we receive lots of like comments and messages like, how can the master say this? This is so bad. But that's the ancient way, and that's how it has always been.
Yeah.
It doesn't like the ancient stuff. It's not supposed to change with the times. It's supposed to be the same. And if you want the benefits from the old stuff, you do the old stuff.
Yeah.
You don't change. Like that's the problem with yoga and the modern Qigong, because it changes with the times and adapts to the new age.
And there's no like ill meaning behind it. It is simply like stating what happens. Like for example, Master was stating about these effects that can happen if you, as a woman, if you increase your testosterone, there are physical changes that happen in your body, and you just have to recognize these things that it is possible to happen. So I don't think everyone wants that to happen in their body. So you need to know what you are up to, and this is not like has nothing to do with politics or anything. Just need to like understand.
Yeah, like if you do too much yoga as a man,
that's the same thing.
It's like it has the negative effect on like the man side of things, like testosterone and so on.
It helped you to make your low back stronger with this new technique that you're practicing. Yes, actually, like we were mentioned very briefly, but we've also like mentioned actually a couple of times about how like special spine movements there are in Qigong regarding like the twisting and the arching and all this. Like it's really good like spine mobilization, one of the best that I've like ever seen in. I think.
Yeah, like my lower back was sore for a very long time when I started doing the health Qigong form, like the twists and stuff, and even the neck. And now it feels very like mobile and strong. But in the beginning, it was like this is very different and very strong.
This is a good point because it's like the movements they usually they have like you have the spine, you have hips, spine, neck, you have your eyesight even trained in the movements. Like they really thought it all out. And talking about like just for I think the master explained that the Buddhist Qigong, the health Qigong form is like incredibly good for athletes who are maybe rehabbing from an injury and such. And for me personally, like many people don't know, but like because I've been training MMA, and this is already like maybe some 8 or 9 months ago. But in MMA training, I was caught in a submission, like this leg lock, and my knee popped during the submission. It was in a very bad shape actually for quite some time, and it affected my walking. And I think because of that, I developed a certain like a tightness in my hip in the glute area, even though the knee was already good. But I had like very annoying tightness in the hip region that was there for months and it didn't go away. So I can't say like there's a direct effect, but after doing the Qigong like a month or about 2, it was gone after that. And if before that it had been there for a long time and just couldn't figure out how to get it away. So this is one of the things as well, like because it's such a holistic thing, trains your whole body in such a ways that you wouldn't think of, combining relaxation, which is also important in fixing pains in your body, and the breathing stuff and everything. This is like very effective for, I think, if you have ailments in your body, some tightness or pain or just like restrictions, or even if you feel like mentally restricted. This is something that opens up like the spirit in a way, and through that the body usually follows. Here's well, there's actually how many days you practice Golden Bell and what is the rest period? Well, I can tell you that the masters is like getting the complete Golden Bell takes around 6 years, 4 to 6 years.
6 to 8.
Oh, 6 to 8 it was, yeah.
Yes.
So
like,
how many days is like?
And yeah, and a lot of people have asked about this course. Is it like, what's the schedule? How many workouts per week I have to do? And that's because this is very different, because this is something you integrate to your lifestyle, and it feels like you are not working out at all. You just do the movements, and there's like schedules and everything and routines, like meditation routine and the Qigong form routine, but it's like it's not like the right question to ask, like how many days per week, because you can do it every day or not. It depends, but you can integrate it to your lifestyle and then do it many times per day if you want to. It really depends, but if you want good results, then it should be done daily in the beginning.
What are the benefits of martial Qigong? How long does it take one to see benefits, and can martial Qigong exercises replace gym? So I would say that you actually feel different. Like after the very first time I didn't even do the complete set. It was 2019. I was practicing first time. You saw this in the latest video that we put out. I was training the hard Qigong form the very first time there. And after the very first session, I was talking about the effects on the video. You can see, you can watch that walk documentary, and I'm like, whoa, like what is this? So you actually can feel very different after the first session. But of course, like the more you train it, the better you come at it on all this stuff. And you're asking like, can it replace gym? And I think like in some ways it can, at least like partially it can. Good, like the master says, like you don't need to go to the gym, because the stimulation to the muscles is like incredible while you do it, do the form. So
yeah, it's like the fighting Qigong. Yeah, it has like the long-term benefits and also the short-term benefits. It's like it can act as like a pre-war ritual, like in the Australia, the rugby players, the Maori, they do the
And then
like they prepare the body and the mind for war and for the sport. And the fighting Qigong form can act in the same way. Like I would do the fighting Qigong before, like for example, a competition or MMA fight. But I would also like how Jiang Yushan use it, like do it 30 days before the competition in a regular like intervals. Like you just prepare the body and the mind all the time to fight, and then it goes up. And then when you have to fight, you're like ready to like destroy.
You're pumped.
Yeah, ready to destroy.
Yep, I think that.
Yeah.
That's pretty much this, like the mental and physical. You just start to feel like this, like a little bit.
Yeah.
I don't know. The test, like this is one of the things about testosterone. If you like wondering like the benefits for male, the testosterone increases are from the heart Qigong.
Yeah, I think the golden bell as a system is the best method I have like ever seen for like increasing the testosterone naturally. Or actually, yeah.
Terve Jukka. Some Finnish people here.
Yes.
Yeah, like there was a question about is it something like 30-day practice, 30-day rest. So for example, the heart Qigong you can do like this way, actually.
Yeah, and another thing you can do for 30 days is the meditation routine. And it also includes the like everything from like sexual behavior to diet, and like it's like the 30 days meditation routine. It's not just you meditate every day, but it's like a really routine with like steps like this many steps, like what to do and what to avoid.
Yeah, this is a good point. Someone was like saying that I believe the master says that 6 to 8 years takes, but there's of course like there's results faster. Like in just 1 month, like he says, you feel different to like the normal person, of course, but the complete 6 to 8 years. So
yeah, he said after 1 year, like completely different.
Yeah,
like you see results after 2 months, and after 1 year, you're completely different.
Like there are different stages in the method, and even the very first stage, when you complete that, it's like very powerful results. It's not that I don't recommend to do Wim Hof breathing. You can do it, but you need to recognize that it's a very specific breathing for specific purposes, and to hyperventilate every single day I don't think it's good for the health in the very, very long term, or at least if you don't do anything that balances it. So it's not a question that you wouldn't do it at all.
Yeah, like the cold therapy and the breathing stuff. It's good stuff, but it's not complete. Yeah.
Do you do abdominal breathing while doing Qigong? Well, yes, but there's abdominal breathing, and then there's what we call breath of mental power, which I think is the more like the like easily the most powerful method that I've experienced in regards to training. So that is what we usually apply, the breath of mental power that you can learn in the course. But there are also other breathing methods in Qigong, a lot. I myself practice martial arts, but Jiang Yushan's method is different and very effective. This is true. Like he has he's inherited a very pure Kung Fu style, and he's been practicing, for decades, and he has the complete system. Like this is the thing, a balanced system, not just bits and pieces, but everything you need for a complete development of a martial artist. Is your martial Qigong?
Yeah, like the Alexander Wallis asked, can I do my own meditation breathing and still do the rest of the program? I think you should contact Jiang Yushan and ask like very specifically about it, because it's hard to say like what you're doing right now and, and how to combine it with, but if you ask Jiang Yushan, and explain it very well, I think he will be able to help.
Yeah, like this, if you get to the course, you can actually contact the master directly, also to ask for help.
So,
Breathing is important. That is true. It's the very start. And if you don't yet like understand the importance of it in this program, I think it will become very evident. The question is like, is there some entry-level exercises that you should do daily to get in the thing? Like you don't need to do anything to get to this course. Like in this course, you get the entry-level exercises as well. Like everything is there.
and someone is saying that there's similar body conditioning, I think hardened stuff in karate as in Qigong. And yeah, I think like Okinawa karate has lots of similarities with like Kung Fu and Qigong, because Okinawa karate, I think it comes from Kung Fu and Qigong, and it's very close the same as some Kung Fu styles. It looks almost exactly the same. And this is what people don't know. But I think like...
Yeah, and the master was talking about, I remember he was talking about something about the Sanchin. I can't tell what it was, but he was talking about these karate styles actually, comparing them. And also like one of the things actually, because you talk about like the golden iron or golden bell or comparing that, is for example like the karate masters, the very old one, when they condition and like they usually have, they can barely like open their arms sometimes or something, like they're almost crippled. So this is the thing about when you go to the hardened style or the real like complete hardened style, you really take care of also the tendons and joints and everything after you do the hardening. And this is what is missing from most hardening techniques. You accumulate a lot of stress there and you don't actually treat afterwards. But in our methods, there's also the treatment side, which makes sure that it's safe and healthy, or at least safe.
Yes. Yeah, hard Qigong is what makes Chinese martial arts effective. Without it, it's useless. Yeah, I think there's some truth in that. Like it's like really the foundation. Like the technique, like the fighting techniques, and all that. Like the technical stuff doesn't matter almost at all if you don't have like the physiological power behind it.
Like the master calls, like the frame, for example, the hard Qigong, you train the frame, and if you don't have a frame, like what do you do? Like swinging around your arms, like you don't have anything to back it up, your moves and fighting movements. Without this, there was just there was one question. Where is? So like many practitioners I know haven't understood it. I had a breakthrough moment where what? Actually, I'm not sure what that means, but like I think this is about like something what I mentioned about the relaxation. Then people don't understand it, but like you would really be surprised like how much people have a hard time relaxing, actually, and how much there is like accumulated and tension that is people are unaware of. Like I've met a lot of people, for example, just like through coaching and everything. Like people hold a lot of tension sometimes in their bodies,
and they don't know it.
They don't know it. So consciously focus on those relaxation techniques can be like a big benefit. Yes.
Here's about the golden bell. You can talk about it, I think. Can you share a bit?
Which one?
This one.
So the golden bell consists of a hard Qigong form, and which is the Lohan Gong that we've been talking about, and then there's also the hardening part. So actually, these two things together. You can do the Lohan Gong form separately. You can just train the form, which I do almost every day, like the Lohan Gong hard form. I love it. It feels great afterwards. But then you can also combine it with the hardening, which then makes it the complete golden bell. But you can't do the hardening without the form, because the form is the sort of preparation to do the hardening, and it makes sure that you have a strong body to withstand the blows and everything. So I can't go into any like detailed stuff about the actual hardening method, because that is in the course, and it's, you get to more there. But like we explained, like it's sort of like probably one of the best form of preparation for a fight. Some people are like mistaken that it's like actual like fighting techniques. It's not. It's preparation your body physically for the fight. You're not drilling like punching or something like this. You become much more able to withstand blows. You become much more determined, much more stronger. You become like just to get into this sort of fighting mood and finding mental state. But without the hardening, even still, it's very, very good, the form. Is there something?
Yeah, I was just searching.
Why is the breathing not taught correctly or completely to students? So why is breathing not taught correctly or completely to students in other martial arts schools?
Because they just don't understand it on like a body level.
And they don't have the method, like they didn't inherit the style. I think this is the thing, because like you have to understand, like the knowledge comes from a certain like lineage, or from people who were like held the information, because this is like, it's very high level information. You won't spread it around like that, and or to anyone. And it was actually very rare. So our master, he found the original, or the grandmaster, who came from the like direct lineages from the Shaolin temple and learned these skills there. And many people don't have this opportunity. They don't find the real teachers or anything, and they just get, I don't know, wherever they get their information. But people don't have the information, the original usually.
Yeah, and it's just like the basic level understanding, like just breathe in and breathe out. It doesn't have the understanding how to like actually do it.
Battery down. I'll listen to the rest later. Cheers. Cheers. Can you tell me what you're holding in the thumbnail? Yeah, I'm holding like this pole that you use for hardening. It's the wood element. In hardening, there's multiple elements. The first one is the wood element, and you just hit your limbs to that pole in a specific technique. There's some very good memories actually from our very first visit. I was using that for my forearms. It was a terribly painful experience. So there's again a question that I noticed that this is mostly catered to men, and the master explained fighting Qigong is not suitable for women, and does the same apply to health Qigong? So I think we covered this. Maybe you came a little late to the chat, but we were talking about this, that the health Qigong and everything is perfect for no matter what gender and what age you are. You can do the health section and everything, and even from the hard Qigong, you can do the form, but you do it in a more similar manner as you would do the soft or the health Qigong form. So you don't use that forceful breathing or super hard contractions, unless like you actually want to use it for a purpose, like you're a fighter or an athlete or something. You can, you can do it, but this is not catered only to men, except for the hardening part is recommended mostly for the men.
And also, like, what I would like to say is that there's like a big difference when it comes to like learning this stuff from different people, because what has happened in the most like the Western schools is that you're learning from like really like, in most cases you're learning from like you're not learning from the source, you're not learning from the pure lineage, but you're learning from like, in like martial arts terms, you're learning maybe from like some blue belt or even like brown belt. You're not even learning from black belt in most cases. And the blue belt or the brown belt, they never have the same like experience and the same knowledge as the black belt. And in this case, you are not even learning from the black belt. You are learning from like the ninth dan, like the highest level black belt, or like the red belt in like some martial arts, like BJJ. Like this is the same stuff as if you were to learn like Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu from the crazy family, from the like the actual like the old guys, not like the
like what if you learn like basketball from Michael Jordan or something? Like you need to put it in the perspective as Jiang Yushan is actually like real grandmaster.
It's like learning like karate from like Mas Oyama, who was the Okinawan, like the grandmaster. It's like you can learn like maybe some similar stuff, but it won't be even close the same, because the closer you go to the source, the more you will get out.
So there's somebody commented it would be amazing for the master to do international seminars introducing real Qigong to the world, and you might not know, but he was going to actually have a seminar even in London about teaching, I think, like Qigong and breathing, but because of the coronavirus situation and all the lockdown, he couldn't do it. So he has some plans, even perhaps with us, to do some seminars. So perhaps in the future.
And we are also considering like doing workshops, like together with Jiang Yushan and maybe other teachers as well, like doing like a big like seminars with like many different teachers, like with Eero, with the Jiang Yushan, and maybe someone else. Yeah, not too many people, but maybe 2 or 3, and have like a really big seminar with focuses on like our methods and also the Jiang Yushan's, like the ancient Qigong stuff and other.
I would have thought at least first 1 to 2 motions would be shown. That way we can get a little experience. Well, for example, again in our latest video, the documentary about or blog about the Qi demonstration, you can see some of the moves from the hard Qigong. Also in the trailer, there's like some very small clips. We have shown some thing about the forms about hard Qigong, so especially the trailer and these vlogs. So I recommend to check those out if you want to see like a little glimpse of what they look like. The soft Qigong, we don't really have anything, but I can assure that this is like good stuff.
Maybe 1 or 2
questions.
Yes.
Yeah, someone explains that people need to understand if they fly to Taiwan, it's the accommodation and the expenses are already very high, and also the tuition fee for the private classes. So this is true. Like this is why the master recommends, like if you want to learn from him, like get this course because it's already very, very good.
And with private lessons, it includes your training time as well. You may actually learn like just one stuff for like how long it takes to learn it, and then you practice it in the session. So you are not actually learning per hour as much as you learn inside the course, because in the course it's like lesson 1, and then it goes like immediately how to do this and this and everything that goes along with it, and then there's the second lesson and so on. And your training time is like separate from the lessons. But if you go like in person to train with the master, the training time is included in the lesson time. So you're actually learning a lot inside this course. And if you go to the warriornekon.com, you can see the entire curriculum, and you can read like every lesson, and there's like a lot to like digest, and it will take even longer to like train everything that's inside. And once you learn it, it will be like something you can do. Like the Xiang Yu-san said that if you just learn these 2 forms, you have them for the rest of your life, and you will get like benefits and results. And you can always do them like anywhere you are. Like you can do them even at work when maybe no one is watching, and just practice them and get the benefits and get the results. And the lifestyle advice and the health practices you can integrate to your lifestyle, and just like, yeah, it's not like you are doing like workouts a few times per week. It's something you integrate to your lifestyle, and then you carry on with this stuff for the rest of your life.
Yeah, I think that's pretty much it. But as we said, there's sale has been going on, but it will really end. And you know, if you have like more questions or something, you can certainly like maybe ask somewhere else if you have about the course and everything. But like this has been a huge change in our approach for our lives, made a massive difference. And like Samuli explained, it's not just the workouts here and there. You can't approach this just like this, like another workout program, because we sometimes call it a complete education, which kind of it really is. Like you get the theory and everything. You get the very fundamental things, and all there, and also to the highest level. Hope you enjoyed this live call, and now you can go to the warriornekon.com and take a look at the course. That's it, guys. Take care and stay strong.
Okay, stay strong.